sense on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. And what you're looking at is the legal lawsuit that's been filed against Stake, Aubrey Graham, and Adin Ross. A Justin Killian, an individual, is filing this lawsuit against them. This is a highly unusual situation, and a situation that you kind of got to read in between the lines to see that this might be something else. Well, Limited operates the world's most popular, profitable online casino, Stake.com, with the company's revenue reaching $4.7 billion in 2024. One of its founders touted, right? Stake has hit a PowerPoint where it's defending, is confident their betting value is higher in the world of any casino that's land-based. So despite its global dominance, which is about sponsoring the Premier League overseas, Formula One racing, they've even got this platform called Kick, where it's multiple mixed martial arts, UFC championships, UFC fighters, and Stake has found themselves in an emergence of this online gambling casino, but they've had it blocked by entering the United States markets by online casino gambling, which is highly regulated and banned in many states, including Missouri. Now, to evade these restrictions, Sweepstakes Limited created Stakes.us together, with Stake, which includes an online gambling and open violation of Missouri state gaming and consumer protective laws. I've been in Missouri. I've gambled in Missouri. It's a bit of a headache. If you've been there, you know. So when I say if you've been there, you know, you should know. Okay. Now, stake players buy chips, they gamble, they cash out their winnings just like any other regular casino. But Stake knew that openly selling casino chips on the U.S. customers would immediately expose them to a legal online gambling casino. So they said to hide the true nature of this online gambling operation, then Stake asserts that the only chips is to sell to consumers are tokens, which is called gold coins. And they can be used for casual gameplay on Stake. You have no real world value and could never be cashed out. However, Stake bundles every purchase of gold coins with a second type of call called Stake Cash as a supposedly free bonus. Unlike gold coins, Stake Cash can be wagered on casino games and cashed out for real money at a fixed 1.1 to the US dollar as far as the ratio, exposing Stake Cash as a clear vehicle for real money gambling. Their pricing structure for American Social Casino confirms that the true purpose of these transactions is to sell Stake Cash, not gold coins. Every dollar spent buying players an individual amount of Stake Cash plus an enormous quantity of like nearly worthless gold coins. Like $20 buys you $20.5 state cash, right? And you'll get 200,000 gold coins. $50 would get you $50.12 of state cash and 500,000 gold coins, and so on, right? So they claim that the players were purchasing harmless virtual coins. Mm-hmm. Well, that was to deceive the regulators and lure players under you know, a disguise of safe entertainment. You know, virtual gambling is highly addictive, and you know it's restricted and regulated by Missouri by law. Games such as those offered online through stake are illegal. The Missouri Gaming Commission, they issued a public service announcement, and they said the Missouri Gaming Commission is suing. Well, they're not suing, they're issuing a Consumer Protection Act to inform Missourians of a concerning nationwide trend that has made its all the way to Missouri. Fraudulent operations are falsely claiming that they are legitimate casinos in Missouri have launched online gaming platforms. Let me tell you about Missouri. This is where smaller casinos thrive. Cheaper machines, cheaper tables, but their town operated with a lot of snakes everywhere, and you can hear them hissing. Those ain't crickets you hear, those are snakes. So walking on that road is not a good idea. But let me tell you this also, just so that you would know. Like, but what's a good idea and what's not a good idea? To mess with these people in Missouri the way they can because you have money. That's one thing they hate, is when you think your money is going to just avalanche them over. Now they could be bought, but you're going to have to come correct. Now, illegal gambling in Missouri and any claims otherwise should be treated as highly suspicious. These scams not only put players at financial risk, but they also undermine the integrity of Missouri's regulated gaming industry due to the unregulated nature. Like MGC is unable to resolve complaints and disputes arising from these issues. So all the victims are left with little to no chance to recover the lost funds. So it's important to remember that just because you can download the app and visit the website and play the games doesn't mean it is legitimate and a legal gambling platform. So they said by offering state cash, you can wager on games and a chance of winning over the internet and redeem for real money. Stake is now operating an unlicensed and illegal online casino in the state of Missouri. Now, these are called deceptive trade practices. Knowing that there's a law, they're trying to find a loophole to get around the law. Now, how does this relate to Drake? Drake is basically being charged because they're using his name because he's attached to Adin Ross, another guy that does the same thing. And both guys are being charged with the advertisement of it and saying, well, they're advertising it to kids. No, they're using their names. Sloppy in this predicament is just a person that's paid like product placement. You know, he's just in the ads. If you're asking me, Adin Ross and Drake will be out of this lawsuit. And this is between Stake and Missouri. But it gets a lot of publicity when you put Adin Ross and Drake into the headlines. So if you're asking me, that's what's going on, really. And in my opinion, they're going to get their names taken off of this lawsuit. Well, in the lawsuit, they're listed as influencers who post videos of themselves gambling in Stake's online casino through social media applications and thereby steer the commercial traffic to stake.com and stake.us. And they are liable for violating Missouri's law. Stake, in particular, pays online influencers, Adin Ross and Drake R.B. Graham, each millions of dollars yearly to engage in promotional live streams, online casino gambling, which, as the name implies in the doc, influences consumers in Missouri and elsewhere to gamble with Stake. But Drake and Ross do so under deeply fraudulent pretenses. To wit, when Ross and Drake purposely gamble online with stake.com, they often do not use their own money, despite telling the public in Missouri and elsewhere the opposite. The fact is not shared with the public in Missouri by Stake or Ross, which means, let's say they are filming something that's an ad for sports gambling. When you do that, you have to put in small print or whatever on the bottom or anywhere, like, this is an ad for blah, blah, blah. You can't leave it like it's a real thing where the people got to guess it's a real thing. You have to tell them this is advertisement. It's like when you make a video here on YouTube, right? And they say, do you have any like ad placement? Or do you have promotional ads? You have to click the button if you do have a promotional ad included in the video. They have to know that. Because YouTube would say this video contains a promotional ad. Well, they think Adin Ross and Drake's are deceptively fraudulent and unfair practices that they're using is a violation of the Missouri law. So the plaintiff, who is Justin Killian, who lives in Independence, Missouri, wants his money back. He wants counsel fee. He wants an injunction against the violations, reimbursement for all expenses and costs in the lawsuit as allowed by the law, and such as a relief of the court. And they said, and lost money gambling in this defendant online casino as a result, wrongfully traded practices set forth, and all of these other things that don't mean anything. Now, lawful gambling has historically been limited to physical casinos, who regularly, police these things. Like if you got Hard Rock, you got the Hard Rock Casino. You got Rivers, you got the Rivers Casino. Normally there's a hub, even for sports betting. So they said these controlled environments are designed to protect the consumer from promoting fairness, ensuring transparency, and maintaining safeguards against, exploitation and misconduct. Okay. Now, with advancement in technology, gambling, and that is expanded beyond physical, venues to online platforms, which has created new opportunities, challenges for, regular people. States that the permits for online gambling has adapted new legal fireworks and frameworks to uphold the same standards and practices that the consumer protections have. Now, they're saying that there's nothing that they'll be able to do here. They've given quite an example of what it looks like with Stake and the defendant stake.us and state.com. And they give a great description here as to what it's looking like. So it's up to the masses to see what in the world is going on with Stake and everything, but it's quite clear. It is quite clear that this lawsuit, yeah, it's embarrassing for his name to be there, but realistically, this is just another scenario in which you're seeing the obvious. Yeah, my money has started now. Yeah, there you go. Introduce those bum ass Knicks. Drake is gonna see Lil Durk. No, I never wanted to see that progress. Like I never wanted to see any of that go down. I expect it rather. I expected for no, I expected for the league to definitely put on like the gambling league to put on this display, because this is really about the state of Missouri more than it is about this one individual going up against Stake. Stake could probably reimburse him, pay him his little money, and try to continue his business as usual. But who knows how that's going to go? Drake and Adin Ross, I'm not going to say they're innocent, but they're going to probably get taken off this lawsuit. It's so much gray area, but to even attach them, even though they're saying they're appointed Drake mostly than anything, because Drake doesn't have a YouTube page that I don't think he's advertising on. I think he does stuff on Stake when it's promoted by Stake, but to say he's promoting it to younger people, kids, that's too much gray area. I think he gets his name removed. I think Adin Ross gets his name removed, and they'll just move on from there. But that's that. So now that you got all the full information on this lawsuit, you tell me how you think it's going to play out, how this is going to look for Drake moving forward. And that's that. And yes, F the Dodgers. F the Dodgers. I'm out.